All right, good morning. And today we are going to be talking about on circles, how to find the circumference and the arc length. Okay, now at first it might seem like, how did we switch to this from area? But we're going to do this as kind of an introduction, and then we're going to ease into area with the rest of the week. Okay, so on our circle, first off, circumference, I'm guessing at some point in your life you've been exposed to this before. The circumference is the length around the circle. Okay, so if we think about it, the length around the circle, it's going to be in like inches. It's not squared like the area. It's just a distance around the circle. There's two different formulas for it, and they're a little goofy how it copied when I made this a PDF, but that stands for pi d, and this one is 2 pi r. Okay. So it might be necessary, if you can't tell what that's saying, you might want to rewrite that as c equals pi times d, or c equals 2 times pi times r. Okay, where d stands for diameter. Okay, we know that this is a line through the center of the circle that touches 2 points on the circle. Okay, so I don't actually think I'm going to write anything there. You could if you wanted. And then the radius we know is the distance from the center to the edge. Okay, so I think by now we know diameter and radius, so I don't need to write these down. If you aren't sure about those, go back to chapter 12. We already talked about that a little, and you can do some review of diameter and radius. Okay, now if we use this 2 pi r, that will tell us the length around the circle. And we could we are going to talk about this in a second, but first let's solve this. So we want to find the circumference. So it's just 2 pi r. So 2 times pi times our r in this case is 6. So if we look here, this is what I want to point out. We need to use the pi button. So if you're using your calculator on your iPhone, you're going to need to turn it sideways, turn orientation lock off and turn it sideways so this pi button shows up right here. If you're using the Desmos one, it's right here. So 2 times, you have two options. You can either type in pi and it automatically changes, or instead I can hit this 2 times pi times, now on that first one, our r was 6. So times 6, I hit enter. And as you can see, we get 37.699111184. We went around. It says round to the nearest hundredth. So that's 2 decimal places. Okay, so we're going to do 37.699, causes us to round up, which will give us 37.70. Our label then is inches. Okay, next one, we don't have a picture, but we know what the radius is. So we can do the exact same thing. 2 times pi times 4. Okay, so 2 times pi is pi times 4. 25.132, so we round down, so 25.13. That one's feet. Okay, our next one is, instead of the radius, they gave us the diameter. Now you guys know that 2 times the radius is the same as the diameter, so we can just take the diameter and times pi. So 25 times pi. If we look, 25 times pi. So 78.539 goes round up, so 78.54. That's going to be centimeters. Okay, our final one, 14 inches, so we just do 14 times pi. And we get 43.982, so it'll stay at 43.98. And that one is going to be inches. Okay, now sometimes we are looking just for an arc length. So for example, here from A to B. I don't want to know the whole way around. I could find the whole way around. 2 times pi times r, so 2 times pi times this 4 would tell us the whole way around. But we just want this part of it. If we think about it, a circle, the whole thing is 360. So if we set up a proportion here, or a fraction, and we put whatever that angle is, because that central angle, that'll tell us what percentage of the 360 it is. So for example, if it was 30 degrees, 30 divided by 360, that tells us what percentage of that whole circumference we'll have. And that'll be our answer. Okay, so right here, you probably want to write this down if you don't have it. And that will help us determine then that measure APB would be what this central angle is. Okay, so if we look here on this first one, we'll just do 70 divided by 360 times 2 times pi times our radius, which is 4. Okay, so now 70 divided by 360 times 2 times pi times 4. And we get 4 let's see, did I do that right? 2 times pi times 4, so we get 4.886. We'll round up, so 4.89. All right, now on the next one, oh, I forgot my label. That's going to be millimeters. Still a measurement. Next one, we'll do the same thing, 100 over 360 times 2 times pi times 7. Oops, not 260, 360 times 2 times pi times 7. And we will get 12.217, so we round up 12.22. And that's millimeters. Okay, almost done. We got 2 more, and that's all I got for today then. So same thing, 140 over 360 times 2 times pi times 6. $14.66 is what we'll get. And now our final one, 40 over 360 times 2 times pi times, this time it's going to be 12. Okay. Oops, I did it again, not 260, but 360. .377, so we round up to 8.38. And that's going to be millimeters. All right, and we are done. Now, today you're going to have a Delta Math assignment. We haven't been in there in a while, so if you need help getting signed in, send me an email. I can reset your password. I can't tell you what your current password is, but I can reset it if you need to. Now, take a look here. There are going to be some problems asking for the arc length. They're worded very similarly, just a little bit different. So if I show this question, it says, in circle J, so here's our circle, the measure of HJK equals 42. That's saying this angle, HJK, is 42 degrees. And it says HJ is 7 units. Keep in mind that 7, that's your radius. Okay? Because J, it's circle J, meaning J is in the center. Find the length of HK, so that's this arc, around the nearest hundredth. So that would be 2 decimal places. Some of them, this one's around the nearest hundredth. Let's see. I think there's some that say around the nearest tenth. Maybe I'm wrong, but if it's around the nearest tenth, just go 1 decimal place. So that's all I have for today. If you need anything, let me know. Hope you guys have a great day.